I'm Anthony Goldsworthy, a partner in our assurance practice and your host for PwC's Consumer Market Bites series. Consumer Market Bites was created to share bite-sized content on the latest insights from PwC and hear from some of our clients across the consumer markets industry. I'd encourage you to interact via the comment section or links below, where you can watch all episodes on demand. We'd love to hear your feedback and ideas on topics you'd like to cover in future episodes. In this episode, we'll provide an outlook on the year ahead. Firstly, our Chief Economist, Amy Auster, will share an overview of the Australian economy as it relates to the consumer markets industry. We will then hear from Birger Maekelburger, one of our strategy AM partners. He will dive into our recent global consumer survey and share key insights and what it means for the Australian market. Over to you, Amy.
Well, thanks, Anthony. And I'm here today to talk about the Australian economy, how we're thinking about 2023 and what that might mean for consumers. It's a really interesting time to be operating in Australia. We're having a lot of negative news from overseas, and as we saw in 2022, some concern about what this will mean for Australia. And as a result of that, what we've seen is that while business conditions in Australia have been pretty strong, consumption in Australia has been pretty strong, sentiment has been and remains pretty weak. And I think this is, if you like, a divergence that we'll see going into 2023. But fundamentally, we're in a very good position. So I'm just going to run through that. What we've seen is that the Australian economy continues to grow pretty well. We have very low unemployment. We have very strong labor market conditions. We have wages continuing to rise, not too quickly, just about right. And so households are pretty confident about their income, and that is contributing to comfort with their expenditure level. On the downside, we have some problems with some issues with higher petrol prices, higher electricity prices, and higher grocery prices. These are, if you like, requirements of living, and so they do eat into disposable income. So what we're seeing is that households are really confident on their income. Their income is growing, but their disposable income is not growing as quickly as their overall income, and that's what we're going to have to watch into 2023. Add to that higher interest rates, and that again eats into that disposable income. When it comes to rates, we also have to remember, however, that only about a third of households in Australia actually have a mortgage. So 2/3 of households are relatively less affected by the interest rate cycle that we're in. Going forward into 2023, we are expecting to see somewhat similar conditions to 2022, and I think that 2023 will be a year of two halves. So in the first half of 2023, we're going to have that continued higher level of inflation as some of the effects of our supply chain disruption and also weather-related disruption to groceries, to food supply and distribution continue to wash through. And we're going to have the RBA still being on a rate lifting cycle. We're anticipating 2 more interest rate rises up until the first half of calendar 2023. Second half of 2023, I'm anticipating that some of those inflation pressures will start to ease, especially as China makes its way through all of these COVID disruptions, and as hopefully our weather systems start to even out and we get that continued flow of supply of our groceries, which are so important for consumers. So I think in the second half of 2023, we'll see lower inflation rates, and the RBA will be on pause, and that will allow consumer sentiment to continue to recover. But what's important is that consumer sentiment hasn't really impacted retail sales. As we saw, January's had been bumper retail sales flowing out of the Christmas period. So we do see consumers continuing to spend where they want to, making those adjustments, drawing down on some of the savings that they built up over the COVID period, and really conditions remaining fairly solid from a consumer and consumption point of view. I think that's going to be the story for 2023.
Australian retail and consumer businesses have experienced an exceptional festive season in 2022. Moving into 2023, businesses are gearing up for a bit more challenging or at least uncertain year ahead. PwC's most recent Global Consumer Insight Survey covers the second half of 2022 and highlights shifts in consumer expectations and behaviors that will inform and drive business agendas in the year ahead. We see 5 key highlights. Number 1, rising living costs. Over half of Australians are very or extremely concerned about their personal financial situation, especially in the age group 35 to 44, where 70% have responded that they are very or extremely concerned. Half of respondents state that they're holding back non-essential spending. The second topic is continued supply chain disruptions. So half of Australians experienced stock shortages in their purchasing experience, and 1 in 4 consumers reported long delivery times as a problem. Australian consumers know how to respond to it now. So they shop at different retailers, they choose different products, or actually choose a different channel, so online over offline. The third topic is mobile shopping. The pandemic has obviously led to a massive increase in online shopping, with online purchases doubling between 2020 and 2022. And one of the main beneficiaries was mobile shopping. In the last year, mobile shopping actually has seen a further increase in popularity, with 37% of respondents saying that they use their mobile phone on a weekly basis, at least weekly, to purchase an item, and 1 in 4 stating that they use it on a daily basis. The fourth topic is physical retail. So while mobile shopping and online shopping is relevant, physical retail is obviously still relevant as well. 1 in 2 Australians stated that they missed the experience of going into a store and feeling the products and testing the quality of the products. So consumers were eager to return to the stores, but they come back with heightened expectations. So one of the most important topics for Australian consumers is knowledgeable and helpful sales staff when they go into a store. And that is very closely followed by experiences that bring online and physical services together. So the ability to use a retailer's website in store or availability of click and collect services ranked very, very highly. Whenever digital is involved and whenever online is involved, there's data involved. So data breaches and data security was a quite high topic in our survey as well. So many Australians are concerned about privacy and the privacy of their data. And almost half of Australian consumers said that they're more cautious and share less data than they used to in the past. And a third said that they're opting out of receiving communication from companies due to data concerns, unless they're compensated for it and they see a clear value. As a conclusion for 2023, retail and consumer goods businesses need to do a couple of things to respond to these consumer trends. So with uncertain conditions ahead, both on the cost side and the revenue side, they need to have a good understanding of the impacts on their top and their bottom lines. All that said, on the digital front, they need to keep investing into mobile solutions that make it an attractive buying experience for their consumers, but equally find a good balance with investments into physical retail to continue delivering exceptional experiences in store. And lastly, whenever data is involved, it's important to really offer a mindful and transparent approach to data collection and processing to build trust with consumers.
I hope you found those insights from Amy and Birger valuable in planning your year ahead. Thank you, Amy and Birger. Consumer Market Bites was created to help share digestible content on the topics that matter to you and your business. To learn more about this series, please follow the links below. And if you'd like to chat further about anything you've heard in this episode or previous episodes, please get in touch with the PwC team. I look forward to seeing you again soon for our next episode.